David, it's good to be back on the mat, even if it's alone here at the gym. But first of all, thanks for giving me this opportunity to help you out. It gives me something to do and to think about so I don't go crazy at home. So I looked at your list, and I've watched your game for a long time, so I know as well things that you're already good at and things that you feel that you need to improve on. I think the advantage, if there is, to being off the mat and being stuck at home is it does give you an opportunity to evaluate your jiu-jitsu game and to create a course of action when the gyms reopen where you can focus on improving areas that you feel that you're lacking in, and you can tighten those up. And then more importantly, we can start taking advantages of your strengths and start feeding people into your game instead of feeling like you're always playing defense, or like you said, where guys are just quickly jumping past your guard. So we'll kind of break it up into sections. So let's discuss the only real one that you put on there, which is your defense and side control. So that's where we'll start. Now, I'll list a bunch of videos below, and the videos below will be things that you need to think about conceptually, and also when you're in side control, what you need to do to create movement and escape. Because the problem with being on bottom and side control is if you let guys get good control of your head and they get real tight to your hips, it's very difficult to move because you can't extend away. So a lot of your defense and side control will be keeping people off of your head. So if I'm on the bottom, right, and somebody passes my guard and they're on this side, I don't want people getting control of my head. So I don't want my opponent's right arm to get around my neck. I want to keep this arm on the inside. So even if it's by my face here, or if I have a frame on their bicep, I need to keep that arm off my head. And then this arm can also control. So I can control that arm with two arms, and that way I can extend my head and I can move my body easily, and I can start bringing my knee to the inside. Okay, so by preventing people from controlling your head, it's going to be easy to create motion, and then you'll be able to escape and get away. And you'll have options. You can go belly down for like a single leg, or you can pivot and you can bring your knees inside. Now, there'll be situations where they're going to get control of your head, and then that is where you're going to have to really get good at framing that hip and then using your outside arm to frame inside the neck and create space and start bringing the knee in. And essentially, when you create space, you're bringing the knee in, or you're slipping inside and you're taking away that cross face that they initially got. And then as it gets worse and worse, as you lose your frame, we have to start creating more and more motion in order to get one frame at a time. But essentially, you want to break it up that way, where if you could prevent people from getting control of your head from the get-go, that's going to be the best case scenario, because you'll be able to immediately escape. So even if they hop over your guard, they won't actually be able to control you on bottom. You'll be able to just easily pivot away and get to your open guard or to your belly. And as it gets to like the worst possible scenario and you have zero inside position, you're going to have to slowly get one, the other, three. You have to build your way up, and you have to be patient, because the more control you give over someone, the more challenging it is to get out, and you won't be able to get out all at once. You'll have to get one at a time. So that'll probably be first get my frame arm, then get my other arm, then free my head, then get my knee in, then go belly down. So that's how you're gonna have to work on that defensive ability from the bottom, and I'll link all those videos so you have a plan, and you're gonna have to retain each skill. So basically, that's the whole idea. If you're spending a couple months doing it, and it may take a couple months, you're gonna have to allow people to basically pass your guard and get to those good positions, and you're gonna have to work on escaping just to get to like your seated guard for probably 1 or 2 months, just so your escapes get really good. So if you have a 5-minute roll, you kind of want to spend the majority of that roll just defending, and if you get out, just kind of let them jump past your guard again and do it again, and that'll be like how you're going to get a lot better at those escapes. Okay, so now your strengths are basically using your open guard to attack submissions. And along with that, you want to use your sweeps, because the sweep attempts basically break people's balance and posture. So if they don't go all the way over, they're going to have to open their arms and legs out, and that's going to give you your submission opportunities. So if you attack submissions and they defend the submissions, that could lead to sweeps and reversals. And also if you attack sweeps and reversals, that will usually lead people to open up, and that will open their arms, legs up for your submission attack. So they work together. You can't just do one without the other, especially, you know, as you're starting to move into the higher levels towards brown belt. You need to be able to combine your sweeps immediately with submission opportunities, and you need to be able to attack submissions. And the moment you get really good defense, you either transition to another submission attack or immediately into a sweep attack. So that's how you're going to really see improvement, is that you're able to start linking those attacks with those sweeps and those sweeps with those attacks. Now, when it comes to gi and no gi, because you're not doing as much no gi, what I always try to think about is I want my gi and my no gi game to be virtually identical, as far as like, I'm going to play a lot of seated guard, butterfly guard, half butterfly guard, right? I'm not going to change things that much with a gi. So what I'm going to show you is a lot of collar sleeve guard, because that guard, if I'm no gi, right? If I'm playing no gi and I go into a seated guard, I'm looking for wrists, and I'm looking for underhooks, and I'm looking for collar ties, and I'll push people with my hand. And when they have a gi on, I just make a collar grip, right? This collar grip, I can move people around, right? I can push them back, I can pull, and I can control their posture just like I would without the gi. This hand, I can kind of grab their neck or here. So that's the grip you want to make, okay? The other hand is going to control the sleeve or the pant leg, okay? So if you were sitting in front of me, I'd be grabbing your right pant leg with this hand, right? And I just grabbed like basically a 4-finger grip on the outside of your knee, and then I'd push you, and I could pull you right into an X guard from here. I could also push you back. I could collar drag. I can go for cross chokes, and I can go for underhooks over the back grips, and I can start using my hooks into butterfly guard. So that's going to be your guard when you play with a gi. You don't want to go spider guard, De La Riva guard, and then no gi, you're doing seated guard, butterfly guard, because you're basically splitting your skills up in two. I want you to play the exact same game, whether you're gi or no gi. So your gripping strategy will be initially when people are on their knees or if they're standing. And I'll show you different ways in videos that if someone's standing, how you're gonna approach versus if they're on their knees. But essentially it's gonna be with the gi, you cannot let people grab your pant leg. So if I'm playing the guard, I cannot leave my feet here, because people can grab your legs and then they can just pin your legs and they can jump all over the place. And that's what you're saying is happening, is people are getting past your guard immediately. A lot of times if I'm on the seated position, I'll sit up like this and I'll get a grip that I want, right? Maybe collar sleeve, and then I'll sit and I'll pull myself in. So now I already have really good grips. I don't want to just start like this, let the guy grab my pants, jump over my legs, and now I'm like basically playing from behind. So it's no problem sitting up like this, or starting from your feet, getting a grip, and then just sitting and pulling him into your guard. And if my partner's standing up, I'll come up like this, I'll reach in and I'll grab his sleeve, right? Or I'll grab his leg, and then I'll just suck myself in, and you're gonna go straight to X guard. So anytime someone's standing, you should jump underneath them and be basically playing like a single leg X kind of game. And if they're on their knees, you could still sit up, you can grab their collar, sleeve, or knee, and then you can sit down and you can start moving them, pushing them, looking for opportunities. You have like loop chokes, you can push them right, you can pull them left, you can grab their pant, you can pull them on top of you, invert them, get underneath them, play your leg lock game. So that's kind of how you're gonna have to play guard. It's gonna be very similar, okay? If you sit on your left side, no gi, I want you to sit on your left side with the gi. I don't want you like changing, playing like gi like this and no gi like this. I want it to be on the same side. So it's, like I said, it's virtually identical. That's gonna be the best strategy to maintain consistency. So whether you come into practice and it's a gi day, doesn't matter. You're basically doing the same thing. Your attack's gonna be similar. Obviously the gi gives you some different lapel choke options, but besides that, the way you get people off balance, how they get off balance, and some of the moves you're gonna do are gonna be the same. You're gonna go into X guard, you're gonna be sweeping, you're gonna stand up the leg, and you're gonna be using your leg attacks to either get guys to defend and you get on top, or they try to run away and then you just stand up with them and you basically take them down with like a single leg. So those will also be the videos that I'm gonna post on there. So lastly, when you look at your standing techniques, right? It's good that you're doing a Dom's class because he's gonna go over those drills. I would say that you can do a lot of things on your own, just learning basic, almost like you can do like shadow wrestling, right? For example, right? So if I'm in my wrestling stance, right, like this direction, I want you to make sure that if you have a mirror here, right, you're gonna be bent over, your elbows are gonna be in, your hands are gonna be in front of you, and that your legs are gonna be behind you. It's almost like you're like bent over like this, and my arms are sucked in and in front, okay? So I'm real bent at the waist. I don't wanna be like squatting like this. I wanna be like real bent over. That way it's easy for me to kick my hips back. You see how my arms are in front of me so I can defend. I can drop back really easy. All right, so I'm up here, I drop my hands, boom, drop my legs back. Okay, the taller you get, the more difficult it is because now I got weight in my legs. My hands, I can't defend the shot because my hands are up here instead of down here, right? So it's easy for people to take you down because I can't sprawl. It takes so long to get down. If I'm already down, see how much easy that is. And it's like a split second. I'm down here, boom, sprawl, okay? So from that position, you can work your defense and you can also work your offense because I can get here and I can practice level changes. As I level change, my head just goes straight down, okay? Straight down, and then when I penetrate, my head goes back. So I'm down, and then as I shoot, my head goes back. And my hips come in. See, then when you grab the legs, your hips are in. Okay, it should be a straight line in a mirror. I shouldn't be like this. You can see how now I'm concave. I want to bring that hip forward. So as I grab the legs and I bring my hip forward, I can step that trail leg up and I can drive through on my shot. And there's a lot of good, you know, takedown videos on Jiu-Jitsupedia that I'll put on there. And there's a lot of good drills, but all you need is a mirror and you can work on offense and defense for wrestling. And then if you have a gi on, okay, the grips are gonna be a little different. So there's a lot of good fundamental standing grip, posture breaking in judo section. And you don't need to learn judo throws, but you should learn the grips because the grips will help you set up single leg, double leg, duck under. So you could do like the basic same thing, and you can kind of have the same strategy, gi and no gi, when it comes to standing, but you can basically break people's posture a little different when it's gi and no gi. So you have to just understand the grips are gonna be a little different, but you could do the same type of takedowns. That way you're not doing like, you know, judo throws and then single legs, right? I mean, you just don't have time to get good at all that stuff. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of guys that want to learn judo. So it's hard to get guys that want to stand up and do judo. So it's much easier to use judo grips to do wrestling takedowns. Okay, so that's what you're going to do for the standing game. Now, when it comes to like charting this out, because there's a lot of information, I would start obviously with the ground stuff, okay? You can't have any ones on the board at this stage in your game, your purple belt, right? You need to eliminate that. So your side control defense has to be excellent. So that's where we'll start. Probably like 2 months, just defending, understanding how to keep people off your head, how to create space, how to get back to your guard. Because then anytime someone passes your guard, you'll be able to get back to your strengths. You'll get back to your positions where you can work your butterfly, seated, half butterfly, get underneath, attack legs. You can, you know, like you said, you like to attack things, even if it gives up position. Well, that's okay if your defense is good, right? Like if you go after people's legs and you end up kind of giving up a position, as long as your defense is good, you're gonna be able to escape and you'll have confidence that you can escape and you'll get right back to attacking. So it's a problem if your defense isn't good, because if you risk position, you know, you go for some kind of like low percentage attack and you end up giving side control and you can't escape it for 5 minutes, then it's a problem, right? So you have to eliminate those defensive weaknesses first, and then we can look at, from like 2 to 4 months, starting to develop gripping strategies, which is basically gonna be collar, sleeve, butterfly, seated guard, which the videos that I'm gonna put on there, and then no gi, it's gonna be essentially the exact same thing, but working like 2-on-1 grips, using that collar tie, underhooks, overhooks, working in from the butterfly guard or the half guard or the half butterfly guard. Those are kind of the positions that we're gonna stay in. Okay, we're gonna avoid, even if you're learning spider guard in class, that's fine, but just blank out after that. You don't need to worry about it. I would just avoid that guard completely, okay? Because it's irrelevant, no gi, and it's just, I don't think it's worth your time. I think you need to basically just stick with one good guard that works, gi, no gi, and just get really good at that. There's not enough time in life to get good at everything. So you have to choose things, and those things are gonna work well with things you're already good at. So hope this helps. And if it does, pass the word on. Some more guys can take advantage of this, because like I said, I'm gonna be sitting here for a month, probably bored out of my mind. So let me know if you have any follow-up questions, and I'll see you soon.